in quantitative risk management. My business idea, I call it Me Virtually. It basically aims to capture the human form in 3D virtually to actually fit clothing for online stores. Even it can be used for biokinetics and even research, so the opportunities are endless. The Leopards Lair competition, I'm actually looking forward to learning a lot, especially in business and taking new ideas that I might have in the future further and getting funding for that. So it's actually a really good learning opportunity. It's not about the money actually for me, it's just about improving my knowledge and my skills in business one day.
Hi. Imagine you can try on anything on earth. Imagine you could know exactly what you would look like in any item of clothing available online. Because usually, you see something you like, you think, well, medium usually is a good fit, you order it, and when it finally arrives, it's too small. Now I have to deal with returns and refunds, and what a frustration. But what if I told you I can offer you a solution? And what if I told you the same solution can revolutionize biokinetics, personal training, maybe even insurance? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Mesh. The Mesh is a 3D simulator that will 3D simulate any human body via images or video. The algorithm will capture people's measurements and movements and will be stored in a personal, secure profile for various uses. No time to shop for your favorite black dress? No problem. The algorithm will uniquely morph clothing available online to fit your unique figure. No time to go to the gym or you don't have a practitioner in your area? No problem. You can send your progress videos to your practitioner, even if he is miles away. Although I aim to totally revolutionize the modern lifestyle, I only elaborate on one aspect, online shopping. Say, for instance, you want to buy that shirt online. You promised your wife you'd buy something a little bit more slim fit this time, but you know the arms are a little bit too tight and it's really uncomfortable for you. But how will you know? I mean, you look nothing like the model, and even if it says you're a medium, how will you know? Suppose you have an app that knows your unique figure. The online version has its own version installed, and these two communicate to create a virtual representation of how your body would look in this particular shirt. So why is something like this even relevant? Well, let's see. E-commerce has been growing by leaps and bounds, and it is expected to grow to 15.5% by the year 2021. But let's back up a bit. In 2016, how many people actually bought the things they were interested in online? Only 3%. Only 3% of all traffic to online stores actually converted to purchases. But this 3% is responsible for $1.9 trillion in online sales. If only 3% is responsible for $1.9 trillion, how much more value is there not to gain if we can convince more consumers to be comfortable with online shopping? But how do we do that? What is important to a consumer? 40% of offline shoppers said they prefer shopping in store because of the security they have in the product, the look and feel they have. Of 24,000 online shoppers, 68% said the most important aspect to them is reliable returns. Wouldn't a program like this drastically reduce the number of returns per day? Well, what would something like this even cost? Costing a program like this has a unique formula. It's dependent on the features that it has, the time it takes to develop those features, multiplied by the hourly rate that the developer charges. For a high-end app like this, you're looking at about roughly $250,000 or 3.3 million rand, not even to mention the maintenance costs. So you're probably wondering, how will something like this even make money? There are so many avenues, I'll only elaborate on 3. Selling licenses for such a high-end software can amount to roughly $100,000. That's 1.3 million rand. Not even to mention the yearly renewal fee. You can also charge commission per transaction done via this app. And also, being an actuarial science graduate, I understand the new fancy word called big data. And the valuable data that's to be gained from such an app is hard to look past. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe this is our future lifestyle. This is revolutionary. This is me virtually. Thank you. I have actually, thank you, I have the opportunity to print some of the models for you to actually take home to go think about the further uses. Sorry, the 1 foot actually broke off. It possibly is. Thank you. If you have any questions, I would like to answer them.
Can I start with a question?
Yes, please.
Competitors.
Competitors.
Mention who's the competitors in the market.
We have competitors in the market, but at the moment, they are only using technology that we call augmented reality. So it's a photo or a video of you, and they take the item of clothing and just place it over you. So it's a mixture of reality and like fiction. But this doesn't show you exactly how your body will morph with the clothes. If you have like let's say, a progress area that might be a little wider than the pants, with augmented reality you won't be able to see that. And that is what the competitors do. And I actually want to be able to see all the little curves that you have on your body, because sometimes it might be flattering and sometimes not.
There's a Swiss startup that's doing jeans this way.
Okay.
So you need to have a look into, there's a few companies that's looking at this,
Okay.
but they're not commercial yet that
Okay.
I know of. But it might be good to check them out before you do anything
I just want to elaborate on a point that the competitors are only focusing on fashion. I want to really change your lifestyle. If you live far and you want to see a personal trainer, you will be able to see a personal trainer however far away. You can customize the new Ferrari that you thought of buying in Italy without even being there. Tailoring a suit in Bangkok that you can, without even being there for the tailor to measure you. So this will change.
Kami, well done. I think
Thank
it's quite innovative. I think you started off with the online market and you stopped there. And your whole presentation was based. I would have loved to see how do you bring that to the market that you are serving.
Okay.
What is the size of the market? What sort of share are you talking within that market?
Okay.
And how do you intend ensuring that you get some level of market share? So as an investor, if you want to, one needs to get a sense of whether you realistically got a sense of what the market is. So that is the one question I have for you.
Okay. Thank you.
My question is more on the technical side. I would be very interested to understand how you think to capture the data.
Okay. So we would use, some of the technology actually already exists, but the uses are more for CGI in movies. So it will be used on the same principle, where you have your smartphone, your telephone, you take a video and the program captures nodal points on your body. And from that nodal points creates a base mesh over your body. And those little intervals that the mesh creates will be used then to capture every single circumference length that you might have. And we also use rigging to then rig that mesh by tracking your motion so that the base mesh will also move the way you move exactly.
And if I may, I don't think I need this. If I may,
please use the mic.
If I may also, obviously the technology exists. I know about it. I just wanted to hear your point on it. But then also, have you you thought of centers where data can be captured?
Yes, the problem with centers that data can be captured is very expensive. So that is one of the areas that I'm actually have to go and investigate in further. Thank you.
So, Kami, I'm definitely going to be a customer.
Thank you.
I think this is a very timely invention, and I think it's well thought through, and congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Then, from my side, I would like to know more about the team. Who's the team that's involved in this, and how much have you progressed in your development work so far?
To be honest, it has been actually a concept for me, not actually being a developer or software developer, having this idea and this problem that I've actually had in my own life, not being able to fit clothes and being far from a gym also. The concept actually was my idea, but taking it further and having the team would be the next step for me. So I'd actually have to think about that when I can actually have time to think about it. Thank you.
Carmi, from my side, once again, this is a really interesting and well-presented solution, so congratulations on
Thanks.
that. I also think it's very timely in the market. I think augmented reality is something that's a very hot topic right now. You will see venture capitalists all over the world really looking to get onto this. It might really be a very big wave, so I think you're in the right sector of the industry. One comment from my side, just a piece of advice, is that the new iOS 10 with Apple will have the iPhone 8 that's going to come out. Rumors have it that they will have 2 depth sensors, so that the phone will actually be able to measure distance by triangulating with the sensors. That might help you considerably to develop natively on the new iPhone that comes out, which plays in your favor. My question revolves around, what would you do if you receive the funding and the prize today? If you win the first prize and you get the 75,000 Rand, what would that mean to you? And is this something that you did for the experience, or are you actually really considering pursuing this full-time?
I was actually thinking the other day that if I win today, what will I do with it? And we've spoken actually and thought about the next steps. Being in over my head with this, not being a developer, I would actually need to go and look at all the next steps, go to people who actually know, how do we do this? Where do we start? All those people that actually know what to do, I need to go to them and they'll help me with the steps. But in terms of taking it further, this is a really big thing for me because I really feel it can change our lives. I really feel it can make all the lives so much simpler, easier. And I would love to see it actually become something and not just an idea that I pitch here today and walk away from. So the experience is great, but I'd love to see this actually realize and help people, and especially help myself, because online stores and having to deal with those clothes, I would love to see an app like this. And even if I don't develop it, I would love to, but if some other expertise are needed and I don't have, I would love to see it be developed eventually. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
To play music and not just listen to it, because the world over loves music, and if we can get enough exposure and get the right people to hear about it, perhaps then the rest of the world can enjoy what I've come to enjoy. Greetings. My name is Andile Mdingane, and I am one of 8 billion people on the planet. We're all diverse, we're all different cultures, different religions and races, but there's one thing we have in common: our love for music. There's just something it does to the heart, to the mind, to the soul, and sometimes embarrassingly, to the body. But not enough people play music. And according to our focus groups, there's 2 main reasons for that. 1, musical instruments are expensive. And 2, even once you finally bought one, it's very difficult to learn. We've answered that with this application, and it's called Square. It allows the user to play something as complex as a piece by Mozart or even Beethoven, or something as popular as a piece by John Legend or Katy Perry or Rihanna. To play that on just 20 keys, shaped in a square the size of half your screen. And how do we do that? Well, we've cultivated secrets by some of the best artists in the world. We've cultivated secrets that have been used for years but have been kept out of the end user's perception. And some things like these are called the Nashville numbering system that's become popular in America. In South Africa, black musicians who don't know how to read music, they have come up with very modified scaling systems. And these are secrets that you can find all over the world by people who've never been given the opportunities, but have somehow used what they had and created masterpieces. And we've put them in this. And it allows the user access to more than 200 realistic sounding instruments like a Steinway piano or a Rhodes saxophone. But I can promise you, with the technology that we've cultivated and used and incorporated into this application, that anything you heard on radio, in your CD player, or at any event, you could learn how to play in minutes. How did we do this? Well, besides all these techniques we've used, we've come up with a new way. No more reading music, that's difficult to do. I've been playing keyboard for decades, and half the time I still don't know what I'm doing. So we got rid of all the complicated symbols, treble clefs, crescendos, and replaced it with 3 colors: blue, red, purple. If you know those 3 colors and you can count to 7, then you, like a pianist or a saxophonist, can become a squarist. Now there's one thing that users today love, and that is personalization. Look, you've got more than 200 instruments at your disposal for a fraction of the price because it's a mobile application, a very light one at that. But even further than that, even further than an instrument that doesn't sound like anyone else's, we've given you access to more than 100 themes. So your app, your Square, your virtual instrument, the first of its kind, will not look like anyone else's in the room. More than that, imagine being the lead singer. We've all thought about this. We see them on stage. Now you can be that, and you can have your own band. See, what this technology allows you to do is play your favorite instrument and at the same time predict what other role players in your band would have done. And you could sound like a whole orchestra is playing behind you while you focus on one thing. Are you a John Legend? Did you love piano? Well, you could have someone from perhaps the Beatles playing the lead guitar, or someone like Freddie Jackson playing saxophone just behind you, on the power of something as easy to learn as 3 colors, 7 numbers, and 5 minutes. We've answered the 2 questions that people have. 8 billion people on the planet. It's expensive. Not anymore. It's a mobile application. It's difficult to learn. Not anymore. Anyone can play it. But what makes an instrument an instrument? It's engaging. We haven't taken that out. As easy as it is, Square has its own characteristics, its own rules, and will make you feel like you're an actual musician, and further than that, make you a genius. We've gotten rid of everything you don't need in an instrument, something like an 88-key piano, and we've come to realize what you do need are the things you need for that specific piece. So you can't make a mistake, but you can always get better. And there is no ceiling for the application. You can learn it, but mastering it is a journey of your own. And you can sound like anyone you've always wanted to sound like. You can play like anyone you've always wanted to play like. What is also important to the user is being able to share it with the world. This application allows you to share your masterpieces on softwares and platforms like Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram, so you can share with the world and collaborate with some of your favorite friends. And everyone's going to hear who you are and the star that you can become. And even further than that, you want to know if there's a market size? Well, they spend billions on applications. It's the biggest growing industry in the world, and 20% of that is attributed to music. Now imagine if we could grab that, because we have no competitors. Before we end this off, I want you to know that what you're hearing in the background right now was brought to you by the app that actually works and exists. Square allows you to be the best musician you never imagined you could be. Thank you.
I'm in the middle, I'll start. Have you given any thought on the licensing and the protecting of your invention?
Oh yes, we've given a lot of thought to that. We've made sure the technology we use is completely original. So we didn't use libraries, which most users will start using now, but we've cultivated it from the beginning, from scratch, and made it tailored to different software. So we can license so much of the application that it can be considered an original. So yes, we've paid very much attention to all these things.
Andile, firstly, your passion is really exciting and it's really well presented. Thank you very much. I've got two questions, one short one. Are you familiar with a really large international company called Square?
No.
So in America, you have a listed company which does payments. It's similar to what you had Pocket POS, the net bank device that you put into your phone and you swipe your card. Most of the payments in retail today, in informal markets in the US, happen with Square. So my advice to you would just to make 100% sure before you build a brand around your name, just to see if there wouldn't be infringement internationally, because Square is quite a big company and they've got a very big presence name-wise. So just a tip on that.
Well, besides the name change, I'm very certain you won't run into any more similarities.
Andile, very exciting development that you have there, and it's impressive that it's already developed.
Yes.
Is it complete?
It works. It's a working application. It uses the latest software from Android and from iOS. So we're talking touch sensitivity, pressure sensitivity, and the greatest algorithms used by musicians today. So it allows you to be the musician, and it works on the most popular platforms. That means access to everyone has phones, and there are more phones than people in the world. And people are spending so much money on applications that it's the fastest growing industry in the world. 20% of that is accredited to musical apps, and we don't have any direct competitors, except people who make real instruments. And we know that those are expensive. And you can have 200 in just your mobile phone.
So, Andile, your target, what's your plan to get into the market, your marketing strategy at this stage?
Right now, what we want to emphasize is that it is a social app. It's the first digital instrument designed for the social and mobile age. So we want to market it using social media platforms. And because it's integrated with social media platforms, people are going to market it themselves just by using the application. So we could save so many costs in just marketing, but as long as we can keep it at their attention, they're going to keep using it and sharing it. This is how applications like Facebook caught fire. People just loved using it and loved sharing that they use it because they want to feel like they're in. And with this application, we use the same strategy. Have them use these platforms, have them share it with each other, their friends and families, their own creativity. And before you know it, everyone who has a phone has Square, because everyone wants to share their talent and their creativity online and wants the world to know it. You could perhaps be the next Justin Bieber just because you're so good at playing the Square.
Hey, Andile, well done.
Thank you.
My question really is, if you win this competition and you get the prize money, how are you going to apply that to this project?
I've given it a lot of thought. When I came up with this idea, people didn't believe that it could be done. They thought it was too good to be true. So I spent years learning how to code so I could make it myself. And now we have this application. But I want to use a lot of the money, just the division of it, to allow real professionals to fix whatever bugs could exist. And we don't know of any of them yet. But we want to send out an application that we are foolproof on. But the biggest thing we want to do is use it on marketing. How did Facebook become huge? Mark Zuckerberg went in debt just because he spent as much as he could on marketing. There are millions of applications online, and even the most greatest go unnoticed because they haven't marketed it properly. So we have something amazing, but if we can let the world know it's amazing, then we can do amazing things with it.
Andile, congratulations on the first step in a very long journey.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You've made that step. That's the most important part.
Thank you.
But you will see that it will develop quite a lot still.
Yes.
Especially your revenue model. Just putting it out on the App Store, it's not going to bring you millions.
Oh no, we're not just trying to put it out on the App Store.
And then the other thing is you need to think out of the box. Apps are very last year. It's old news. What can you do more with it? What can you do with the data that you generate behind the scenes? So just start thinking about it. It's not a question, it's just a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Just start thinking about that while you're doing your development.
Thank you. Just to add on that, thank you so much for the advice. In making the application, we already thought future, and we thought, well, let's use the technologies that haven't even been released yet. Things like what we have on iOS 10, pressure sensitivities are very new to iOS and it's standard across these mobiles. What we have on Android, because they don't have pressure sensitivity, we've used things like latency so that we can use time to make up for not feeling pressures. So we've even thought ahead. Although apps are not something new, they are growing in popularity, and because people are gaining access to phones, we've made our application years ahead. And even thinking future, imagine dedicated devices, having a square as a square and not just a mobile app. No longer just 200 instruments, but thousands, original sounds, original themes, so that you can walk around with a real instrument, be it on your phone, as portable as it is, or in your hand, even more portable and more powerful. So even towards the future, we've thought about everything going forward. Thank you so much for your advice.
Thanks. Thanks, Andile.
Thank you.
To get my invention to the industry, I believe that there would be a lot of partners, advisors, and investors to help to get the invention to the mining sector.
Good afternoon, Leopards. I am from Edifluence, and we have designed and developed a plant or a unit that is able to take discarded coal fines and dewater it to an industry standard. It is estimated that about 12% of the mined coal in South Africa are considered as fines, and they carry as much as 30% of their weight in water. Because it's so difficult to handle and to dewater, it's become a common practice in industry just to leave these into heaps or discard it into slurry dams. And it is said that there's over 1 billion tons of these waste material lying around in South Africa. There's 142 disposal facilities as well, and this accounts to over 4,000 hectares of occupied land. Now, as you guys can imagine, it causes a lot of environmental problems. The heaps cause fire hazards, and the fines also cause pollution, and it's said that almost 1 million deaths, it contributes to almost 1 million deaths annually. It also is estimated that between 11 and 56 million litres of acid mine drainage seep into just Gauteng's rivers every single day. This causes a huge problem. So we have developed a plant that will be able to recover these coal fines from the heaps or the slurry dams. The unit will then operate on the mine site, and we will supplement the saleable coal fraction of a mine while creating revenue from so-called waste material. We will also in return reduce the environmental problems and related costs to that. Our unit produces 2 distinct products. The first is very fine and dry coal, and the mine can then decide what to do with it. Further, either they can use it directly in another plant, or they can blend it with their coarse fraction, or they can make briquettes out of it. The second product is extracted water that they can recycle and reuse as processed water on the plant. Our technology has two distinct units. In the first unit, we take sorbent material and we add it to the wet coal fines to initiate moisture transfer and deliver a dry coal product. In the second unit, we take this loaded sorbent into a packed bed that works with ambient air, and we can regenerate that sorbent material to be reused in the first unit to dry the coal. The total addressable market that we want to reach is the 142 disposal facilities with the over 1 billion tons of coal fines. We want to target South Africa's coal mine industry as a whole and have identified a few customer segmentations. Firstly, we want to go into the main active mine sites. They produce the majority of the fines at this stage. And we want to start off by the small mining companies as they are more lenient and willing to try new technology. From there, the results will help us to get into the larger mining companies that have more established processes. The second customer that we want to reach is the new up-and-coming and developing mine sites in the Waterberg region. And thirdly, we want to work with rehabilitation programs that are enforced to help closing mines or abandoned mine sites to rehabilitate their ground. Our main customers at this stage is conventional methods for drying coal in the industry. We have mechanical and thermal methods. Mechanical methods are not able to deliver the target moisture needed for these fines. While the thermal drying methods are able to deliver the target moisture, it is very risky because it does allow for dust explosions that can happen and also costly during operation. We have started doing a lot of test work. Initially, we've spent a lot of resources and received funding from the government and industry alike to do test works, and we've completed that, and we're in a second phase now where we're building a pilot scale unit that will operate at 1 ton per hour. We will make this pilot unit portable so we can take it to different mine sites. It's a very word-of-mouth industry, and so we want to be able to show them exactly how their results would look like on their specific coal on their site, and hopefully in that way advertise our innovation as well. So in the future, we need help to get our technology out there. We need help in the form of advisory boards. We need industry partners with knowledge. We need investments as well as joint ventures, and to get our technology to the industry and the mining sector. Thank you for your attention.
You thought of basically everything. Did I miss the competitors that's out in the market already?
I did have a slide on this. I think it's approved.
Okay,
Two
so
slides
maybe
back,
I've missed
but
that part.
there's not competitors that's drying the fine coal at this stage. They do use conventional methods. The problem is they don't want to have a new plant, so they take the conventional methods and try that with the fine coal at this stage. And it's, as I said, it's either too risky, like with the thermal drying options because of dust explosions, or mechanical options that are able to dry their coarser fractions but not the fine fractions.
Very practical presentation and very easily to understand for someone that's not in the mining industry, so well done.
Thank you so much.
Jana, well done. It's definitely I think you're addressing a big challenge within the mining sector in general. And I don't know, and I haven't seen this coming through, and I know you need still need to go through a process. But what you're dealing with is a sector or an industry that in my view is still in the 70s in terms of its technology, the way that they do stuff. And what you're bringing out in there or trying to introduce is probably something very far from where they are. And I need to get a sense of how are you going to go about to let them understand why this is important for them to do. Secondly, and obviously I know the mining sector very well, the issue of mining currently in our country is a very cutthroat industry these days, and I'm sure you know that. So any new capex or something that will increase their costs is not received favorably, irrespective of how you put the benefits out there. And when you further develop that, or when you pitch that to them, it's always to pitch it with an income stream linked to that. You know, the models that goes around where you show how when you process this and the products that's been processed goes back into. So I didn't see a sort of an income stream coming from the technology. I also didn't get a sense of the cost of what this technology will cost, etc. So I think if you can address those sort of things, be mindful of the sector and the industry that you are targeting, how do you adjust this to speak to that? And then finally, in the mining sector, there's a lot of legislation and compliance issues, etc. And sometimes when you deal with a commodity like coal, you need a mining license or some type of legislative thing, which also you have to be mindful of on how you would then work with those sort of product and the process that you need to go through to get access to that. But well done.
Okay. Thank you for your advice. Just if I can touch on that. That's why we are looking into starting with the small companies, and we're looking into the junior mining industry as well as portable mining industry. They are smaller, and so they're more willing to take on new innovations rather than the established mining sector. And so we're starting there, and we want to take this pilot to them specifically, and from there we want to have a techno-economic evaluation on real-time data and coal, and that we try and see exactly what the values are going to be, and take that and those results and take it to the larger industry. So that's how we're planning on addressing the financials and also targeting the larger market.
Jana, well done. Have you had your estimations done on the cost for a pilot scale plant?
Yes, more or less. We are planning on spending 150,000 on the pilot plant, and electricity-wise, it consumes, that's for the fixed cost now, and electricity less than 20 Rand per ton.
And then just some advice to come and see our technology transfer office as soon as possible, that we make sure that the IP is protected.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's revolutionary work, I think, that you've done. Was this part of your PhD research?
Yes.
Excellent. The team, who's the team? Who's the we in this project?
Okay, so it's me, and we have 2 professors or study leaders that's in the process as well, and we've had a few students helping us getting results as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Jana, well done. This is really, really exciting. 2 quick questions from my side. The one is, obviously you've got things in coal like calorific value, sulfur, ash content. Is this dependent on the quality of the coal that you source, or can you work with any fines?
We can work with any fines, and basically the fines are exactly the same quality most of the time, then the coarse fraction as well. So if we can dewater it, we have the same quality or calorific value, then the coarser fraction as well.
Okay. And then a quick other question would be, and with a comment, if I had to market this, potentially I would go to, as was previously mentioned, to a mine and say, this is a solution, and we've already got some offtake for the product that we're going to produce with you. Is that how you market it to them, or do they need to sell the end product? Do you help with the marketing of the end product? What is your market on that?
They specifically have already set processes, so we don't want to change their established processes and what they do with the fines in the end. We just want to put another process in there or have another product stream for them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
is to restructure or rather improve the system of data capturing in South Africa regarding child abuse and domestic violence. Currently, a lot of information gets lost along the way because things are still done via paper. So I would like to create an app allowing the user to download it onto their cell phones and to record things that are happening in the day-to-day life. This information will then disappear once it has been captured on an external server, and this server will be accessed via lawyers and caseworkers and so forth. I'm looking forward to networking and getting my idea out there. Winning is not so much important to me, more so than improving people's lives and trying to get this idea out there, because I feel like it's my opportunity to help people and save lives in some way.
Good afternoon, panel. We're here today to discuss with you S-Blanket, Comfort in an App. I stand before you today a former child abuse victim, and I understand the problems in the system because I spent almost 4 years in it. Just to paint the picture for you, about 43% of all women in South Africa have experienced all types of abuse. A third of our population has experienced sexual abuse, and about 44% of all child deaths in South Africa are attributed to abuse. And to make matters worse, 23% of our population sees all of this and does nothing about it. The current system for dealing with these cases involves tons of paperwork, insufficient evidence, and not enough time to collect data. This makes the process longer, and as a result, cases are thrown out and people are not helped. And our solution to this problem is S-Blanket, an app to capture data regarding child abuse and domestic violence as it occurs. So once you make a report, it is, it is cleared from your device and sent to an external server. Here, it is available for caseworkers and other legal officials to view, and then the legal processes can follow suit. Now, our app will be disguised as a calculator or calendar. It will also have a message board as well as an online anonymous support group. We further wish to extend this project into rural communities via the development of a help box. This will contain tablets and other devices with the app, as well as provide a safe space for victims to meet with caseworkers and officials. Now, on this slide, we show the many improvements that this app will bring about, but the major one is the amount of data and information collected. This will speed up the process and help people much faster. Now, on this slide, you can see the basic user interface of the app, and in the next example, you can see that you can upload evidence in the form of pictures and fill out the other relevant data. And furthermore, about 56% of people in South Africa use social media. So we believe that based on this, our app will be used as well.
We see opportunities with potential partners, investors, and sponsors that will help us create jobs through the creation of this app and through the help box. According to an online estimate, it will cost us around about R500,000 in order to develop this app. Now, we cannot offer you monetary profits, but we can in several forms represented behind me. We can then charge companies to place advertisements on this app, as well as issue them with Section 18A tax deductions as an incentive. This next slide showcases our ultimate vision for this app. Once it has been launched, we will then implement the community development help boxes, which will then lessen violence in our country. Ultimately, this will unite South Africans to stand up against domestic violence. Now, with this national grid of data, social workers and legal officials will then be able to access this data and process cases much more efficiently and save more lives.
Okay, so if you're wondering where the name S-Blanket comes from, I'd like you to think of almost any child you've ever seen. They're always carrying around some sort of blanket or little stuffed animal, and this acts as their security blanket. Now, my partner will hand out to you pamphlets and little S-Blankies that we made, which are little phone covers, if you will, to remind you that this app can act as your security blanket in your time of need. It can provide you hope when all else is lost, and will ultimately be comfort in an app. Thank you so much for your time. Are there any questions?
and I think it's much needed. I'm, however, worried about the legal aspects. Have you guys consulted with legal experts to find out all this information that you gather? Can this be used in court? All those type of things?
Unfortunately not. We did, however, speak to a social worker, and she said that it doesn't seem like it would be a problem.
Just a last comment. Last week before last, Cornerstone Women launched the app, which is a safety or a rapid response type of app. I think it will be a good idea if you guys speak to them, because not only do they have influential women behind them, they can also be a very nice collaborator.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm married to a social worker, so I can relate to this and got some sense of the challenges that are being faced with. For me, now my business hat on, investor, why would I want to invest in this? And then secondly, what I couldn't get is the recording of the data or information. How is that going to happen? You know, I just need to get a good sense of that. So if you are in an abusive relationship, or if you are being abused as a child, you know, how would you be able to capture the data? I think you said data captured and then transferred to external whatever, servers, etc. But it's the capturing thereof. And then I just need to get a sense of that.
If I could answer that, I believe that sometimes, even if you're being abused as a child, and if you called like Child 9 or something, it takes them a couple of weeks or days before they send somebody to you. And in this time, physical evidence of your abuse can disappear. So the idea of this app is, say you get abused and you get a bruised arm today. Of course, you can't report it right then and there, but later on in the night, you can type the information on your phone, take a picture of your arm and send it. And I feel like in this way, you capture the data in sort of real time, almost.
And telecommunication companies could then, you can then charge them for using data, for using the app, and it could be available on the App Store as well. Essentially to download it for free, but once more with the tax deductions, and it's that whole social entrepreneurship factor which we're trying to seek out.
I just think this is a very timely invention, and I think this is this invention has the potential of having a tremendous social impact. We're talking about the economy, we're talking about work, about business, about student lives, about the youth. But if our youth is a group of people who are scarred by abuse, our chances are limited, and our chances are decreased when it comes to having a larger economic impact. So getting the nation healthy is, and emotionally and mentally healthy is a really important aspect. So I'm very glad that you've addressed this. I agree with some of the concerns raised with, by colleagues here present, but I do think that even though it's a longer journey it's probably going to be a longer journey with less financial benefit probably, I think it's a journey that you should not be giving up on, and that's just my input, not a question.
Thank you.
Guys, well done. I also want to commend you. I think this is such an amazing idea, and one that I personally really hope can be executed. I think I'd like to just reiterate, with something like this, you collecting extremely sensitive data. I would really inspect, you know, and make sure that the security behind where the data sits. You can imagine if this gets hacked, the consequences would be really dire. So just advice there, this would be your most important thing to build. A question I would like to ask is, where does the data end up? Is that part of your business, having the support center behind receiving the data, or have you considered who you can partner up with to receive the data and to then take the case further?
We essentially thought of potentially seeking out potential investors who could then help us in setting up these servers across the country. Currently we only have a prototype, but we need more help developing the app further, and once more setting up these servers around the country.
Thank you very much. Just to quickly touch on the last comment, What I'm referring to is when you capture this data, who is going to respond to the case that has been opened? Who's the end recipient in terms of a person? Does this go to the police? Does it go to social workers? Are you going to tackle that yourself? Or are you going to partner with others, and who are these partners that you've identified?
We'd ultimately like to partner up with all of the social workers in South Africa and let them have access to this database, because I truly believe it will make their jobs that much easier and speed up the process. So typically, if you're being abused, this app will create a profile for you. And in this profile, all of the incidents will accumulate. So your caseworker then has this bunch of data that she can use to further your case. And I do understand the concern that, people can use this app in a way where it's not dealing with abuse and they're just kind of grumpy about a situation and want to vent. So I think also with social workers and the amount of experience that they acquire over the years, we'll be able to detect whether this case is valid or if it's just a child that's misunderstanding a situation.
Makes sense. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Just getting some tips and advice. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, a little bit about myself. My name is Lara Dupree. I'm a final year mechanical engineering student. I grew up on a farm, and I'm very familiar with precision farming practices. So the current problem that farmers are facing is herbicide is applied in a uniform fashion over the whole area. Studies have shown that only 40% of the area is in fact covered with unwanted growth. Herbicide is very costly and it's very detrimental to the health of the plants at early development stages. So the solution that I'm offering is a real-time weed recognition software system that can, on an automated basis, selectively apply the correct type of herbicide to the specific type of weed. Grasses and broadleaf weeds use different herbicides, and it's very detrimental to the plant growth if the incorrect herbicide is applied at the wrong time. So at the moment, we are at prototype development stage. We have done extensive research on the types of filters and the types of classification methods that are currently being used. At the moment, funding is holding back getting in more data for more testing. This image shows more or less what the initial approach would be. So based on color discrimination, we can identify vegetation and background, and then using pattern or shape recognition, we can then identify wanted versus unwanted growth. The opportunity, there are 35,000 commercial farmers in South Africa, most using at least one sprayer. The capital expense on a new sprayer is 2 million rand. That is for a regular sprayer, no extra additions added to it. The best competitive price that I could find was between 1 and 2 million rand for converting existing spraying systems. That is a company based in Australia. They can only identify the presence of vegetation, and that price does not include any transport or import tax. So the business model that I'm proposing is the conversion price of an existing Montana 2,000 liter sprayer is roughly 50,000 Rand. I plan to sell 5 prototypes during the development stage from farmers that have expressed interest in the idea, and then I want to sell the working versions at 250,000 per unit. I plan to approach farmers directly for the sales. I have been in contact with local dealerships and manufacturers, and I have a manufacturing pipeline established from a local agricultural manufacturer. Future endeavors would include GPS tracking, auto steering, field mapping services, which could at a later stage give a bit of information about your general crop health, and then that information can be used to apply fertilizers in a specific fashion. So the funding allocation is 50,000 towards the prototype development, 15,000 going towards marketing, 10,000 for unforeseen expenses, and the remainder will be used for consultation and legal fees. My role in the company will be Chief of Engineering. I plan to do my master's next year in feature recognition or image processing in general. And then, I would like to be involved in the manufacturing and the sales as well. The next steps will be testing, obtaining more data, and then fine-tuning the whole idea based on the experimental data. Thank you very much.
Harry, thank you very much for presenting your solution. I have a question on the business model. It's a 250,000 Rand input cost to a farmer. What is the return on investment time-wise? So how long does it take for me as a farmer in typical setup to recover the 250,000 Rand? And how long until the depreciation requires me to buy a new unit?
Okay, so currently the payback period is under 1 year. I want to make the locally produced product affordable for local farmers. South African farmers live in a very competitive and a very financially straining environment. So if I can show you these financials, these figures were obtained from a local producer of herbicides or supplier of herbicides, and the farmer, so the price is very associated with the area that you actually work. So if you can buy more, obviously the price is better. So on 2,500 hectares with 50% coverage, you can spare, depending on whether it's maize under irrigation or dry land, you can save between 500,000 to R1 million a year.
Again, on your technology protection, your IP, what have you done so far to protect your ideas and your development, and what's your plans going forward?
Before this, I entered this competition, I signed a non-disclosure with the PUK Innovation Office, and I spoke with a lot of the lecturers there concerning future development and just fine-tuning. The current problem is that we can't process the raw imagery quick enough to actually put it on board the system. So what IP protection, I haven't really done anything. I haven't protected myself in that sense. I can't really elaborate further.
So my recommendation is to come back to our office and speak to us as soon as possible.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Harry. And I think you obviously know this sector very well, having grown up there. I just want to make sure that I understood correctly. You're developing this sort of technology which will identify what is weeds and what is that, etc. But then in your future growth, you said you obviously need to do the GPS tracking and the field mapping. But are you not selling that now?
GPS tracking would be employed in auto steering. John Deere has similar systems incorporated at the moment, which would then map out the width of the boom to avoid double application on areas. So we could employ auto steering to reduce double spray areas, and then the field mapping services will then be used later on. Like I said, at later stages of plant development, you can use UAV footage or something like that to get a bit of feedback on the general crop health.
From my side, I just have a comment for you. Don't reinvent the wheel. Speak to a company called AgriPD. They're based in Bloemfontein. And then also Gamea, that's based in Switzerland. Okay. And then there's about 2 or 3 companies in Cape Town that do the UAVs, especially when it comes to your GPS and the field mapping, etc. Gamea at the moment is the forerunner in this field. So, so if you need a contact, just drop me a mail.
Oh, thank you very much.
Harry, in true engineering style, all the details, I could not really keep up with all the information, but I can see you did a lot of homework and you thought through a lot of the detail of this project. And in true engineering style, you believe that you can do all of this by yourself. I think this is a business with a lot of potential, and I think you can go big. I want you to tell me what your plan is in terms of not doing everything by yourself, but building a team that supplement your own strengths when you take this to market.
To answer that, I have approached different faculties on the university, including the IT and the electrical engineering faculties. We spoke about possibly employing students next year and offering them master scholarships or something like that, and give them specific parts of the whole project to work on. I.e., one person will be working on the feature recognition and another student may be working on the physical hardware from the computer down to the solenoids of the activation. The IT department has also expressed interest, and where they can be of great benefit is, like I said earlier, the processing time is a bit long. So with their extensive IT knowledge, we might be able to reduce that and actually come up with an efficient real-time solution. So, thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Break? Huh? Is it on? All right, thank you. So I'm very unprofessional in front of a camera. We're just going to take a short break. We'll start at 1400 hours again. So it's a 20-minute break for the Leopards to just get a coffee, and then we'll continue with the pitches. Thank you. Stay tuned.
My name is Kumbewe Luwewe. I'm studying public governance and politics with law subjects. Yes, we're part of a group of 4. We started a group called Let's Grow Together. Let's Grow Together is a student-initiated, driven, and developed online platform that specializes in the delivery of fresh fruit and vegetables to the student populace, or to the populace on the Northwest-University campus. I think for the 4 of us, it's really a great opportunity to learn. We get to interact with a lot of knowledgeable people, and to be able to transplant that knowledge into Let's Grow Together and use it as an opportunity to develop the student opportunities on campus.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. And my name is nwu-pukke, and this is my partner and founder of Let's Grow Together.
Every student is a seed. Every seed is an idea. Every idea has potential. At Let's Grow Together, our legacy is people. The idea started in 2015 with the rise of the fees must fall crisis. The fees must fall crisis saw unrest within the higher education sector reach a precipice and culminated in a violent wave of protests we commonly refer to as fees must fall. We saw this action as a call to action from us as students to get involved in the challenges the students were facing. Neo is going to tell you briefly about what we do and how we do it.
Thank you, Kumbewe. Basically what we do, we reverse engineer a primal human need and we sell it back to people. So we deliver fresh fruit and vegetables to lecturers, and how we do this is through an online shopping platform that lecturers access anytime between Monday morning and Wednesday at 5. And what happens is Wednesday evening, we have the list of orders and the people who have ordered, and we send it to our supplier who goes to the market, farmer's market, on Thursdays mornings, and then we deliver the fruit and vegetables to the lecturers just before 1 o'clock. So basically what we do is we're not doing anything different. We took existing products in the marketplace and an existing tool, the internet, and brought them together. And we are currently in business. We've been in business actually now for a few months. We have a profit, and we did all of this without even a business plan. We literally bootstrapped it using Kumbewe's bank account as our business bank account, and we're literally changing the life of actually 2 students at the moment. And for every 20 students, we can help one student, and that money goes a long way, you know. And like Kumbewe said, everybody wants to complain, but nobody's actually doing anything about it. And not to say we're doing anything about it, but that's what makes this thing so cool, and that's why this would help us so much in actually putting up the investment money and taking this idea further.
The numbers. We currently focus on supplying the fruit and vegetables to lecturers on campus. This month we had 80 deliveries, but as you can see, the number of staff members is much larger, 3,700 potential clients, with an even larger populace of students. We want to convert Let's Grow into a regional competitor, and not just a competitor, but we want to be a dominant force in the market.
Right. So our future really looks bright, because if you look at the current e-commerce space in Potchefstroom or South Africa in general, not a lot of people are doing this play that we're doing, combining e-commerce with fresh food and delivery. And with this new craze of healthy living and healthy lifestyle, we are really on the trend, early on the trend. And as Peter Drucker said, the great business management philosopher, he said that e-commerce is going to take over the world. And if we're here in Potchefstroom, South Africa, and we're doing that, I mean, that just advocates that. So our future, or what we would like to do, is to branch out further, kind of like what Amazon did. Started with books, but then had and morphed into more of a huge juggernaut like it is today. So our thing right now is to do fresh fruit and vegetables, do it really well, and yeah, hopefully that could take us to other series of products that people really need. And what we also would like to do is also start a store, you know, where people can come in, have smoothies possibly, and have these fresh fruit and vegetables available, because people also don't just like to buy products, okay? They want the experience. They want to know that they're voting with their checkbook, where they're making a change with their purchase. So I think with Let's Grow and the future we want to do can actually come together and actually help us expand.
A society grows great when old men plant trees under whose shade they'll never sit. Let's Grow was started to help the students. And we believe that this is a practical solution to a problem that is out there. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to say we must come together as a collective to assist the students in need. Thank you.
Do I get the honors to be the first one to congratulate you two
Thank you
for being so inspirational?
Thank you.
This is absolutely amazing. I'm just surprised. Why does only the lecturers need fruit and vegetables?
Yeah.
I think the students need it more to grow the brains.
Yes, no, definitely. I think we...
This is just a joke on this side. This got lots of potential. If you guys now win the first prize today, what will you do with the money? You're already making money.
Yeah, I think for us it's about really, like you said, we want to take this to the students, but we need that boost. So with that, we want to focus on building the infrastructure to support the growth. So for us, quality is the most important thing. So we don't want, it's very easy for us to send this out to the whole university or even throughout the whole city. But the most important thing is that we're able to offer a quality service. We've seen on campus there's been a reluctance from lecturers to get involved in student enterprise. So we want to make sure that we've got the infrastructure so that the moment you interact with us for the first time, you experience a professional service. So it's going to go towards ensuring that transport logistics work perfectly. It's going to go towards having our own personal boxes so that when you receive your fresh fruit and vegetables on Thursday, you know this is coming from Let's Grow Together.
Gentlemen, is it only gentlemen involved there?
Yes. For the moment, yes. We're working on bringing in, a few ladies.
Oh, no, well done. I think it's really a noble idea. If my understanding is correct, you obviously, your whole aim is to assist other students. And I think speaking to Karen's point is that many people out there would like to get involved in that. So I don't think you should limit it to only lecturers or even students for that matter. I'm sure the community at large, if I know I can order my fresh fruit and vegetables, and by doing that, I will support a student, out there with fees, I would just order from you. So I think you should think broader, and you should really take this further. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Short answer or comment from my side, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I would like to remind you that if you step outside of the main gate of Northwest University and you look left and you look right, there's 2 other campuses. Right. So remember, we're not only in Potchefstroom, you can triple your numbers.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Do you mind if we just address those? I think, for us, the reason why we wanted to limit it to on campus is we know that this is something the community wants, but logistically it's quite a challenge. If we have the 5 of you sitting here, instead of us having to deliver to each of your personal houses, we can deliver to your workplace. And that means we make one trip and we still have access to you as individuals. So for us in our initial stages, we want to make sure that, we're as effective as possible. And that's why we've structured it like this, but we do want to expand.
My comment was to also look at all 3 of the Northwest University campuses.
No, definitely. We want to...
You know what is, and this is really an opportunity. I'm sure you guys know how the taxi industry works. Right. Taxis only work in the morning and in the evenings. During the day, they don't do anything. They're waiting for the afternoon. There's spare capacity there. To speak to your challenge, to say that if we use these taxis during their times of the day, you can bring down your delivery costs because most of them are doing these routes anyway. So I'm just giving you an idea to say that you don't have to buy trucks or think that sort of thing if you want to bring stuff to that. And that's just one of the ideas that I think you should look at.
Thank you.
So you are inspirational to me. From the Department of Higher Education side, I'm sure more people will agree with me. This is a brilliant response to the fees crisis. You are such an example of proactive, non-victim response to circumstances, and I commend you for this. So this is a social entrepreneurship initiative, really, that you're busy with here.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so what I wanted to know was, you already have a feel-good story there. Have you considered the organic market as well? And in asking that, perhaps you should tell us a little bit more about your suppliers. Where do you get your products from?
Okay, Jonah?
Yeah, for sure. Basically, right now we have two suppliers. We have a small supplier on campus. Let me just get the mic. Thank you. To answer your question, ma'am, we actually have two suppliers. One of them is actually on campus. It's called Sun Farming, and basically their whole manifesto is based on growing fruits and vegetables in a very organic and eco-friendly way using the sun as basically the power source for everything they do. And they're one of our suppliers, and one of our other suppliers is a place called Fresh Pick, and they're just literally a few kilometers away from the university, and they literally go and pick up the produce in the morning, literally after the evening we just send the orders through.
Guys, I want to join in with the rest of the panel in really congratulating you. I think it's so awesome when people have solutions and not just issues. This is really amazing, and I want to commend you. My favorite African proverb is, if you want to go quick, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And it fits in very nicely with what you guys are doing. I've got one question for you, but it's a trick question. What do you sell?
What do we sell? Basically, like we said, we sell time and convenience, and also an opportunity to make an impact.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, people can already access fruit and vegetables somewhere else. They can already, help and donate somewhere else. But why should they do it with us? Because I think we're a lot closer to home, and really what we're big on is helping the lecturers or the people who buy from us engage with these people that we're helping, and actually to see their lives transform, to see them become more articulated people who are more assertive and who are really growing. So what we're selling people really at the end of the day is an experience, to be a part of something bigger, because I think really that's what people want and long for.
I sincerely agree. I think you're selling a good news story, and it's something that you should always remember. It's not always about the product, it's about you selling the good news story, and there's a lot of buyers for that good news story. So
Absolutely. I think in doing this, we found that a lot of lecturers struggled with sort of different approaches to student crisis. Because a lot of students wanted the lecturers to be involved, but it required sort of too much time on their part. So with this, we're saying you don't really have to commit your time, but by making a small shift in the way you operate, you can sort of extend your area of influence to the students, and you actually see them grow from sort of a shaky student delivering a box to you to a more confident student. And they not only get extra money from that, but they build themselves and they build a small network from themselves. So I think that's really important in what we do.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, guys. Awesome.
Good day. My name is Lara Dodonga. I'm also known as Lara Beautified. I am an owner of a company called Makeup by Beautified, which actually specializes in makeup services for all occasions, from your wedding to your farewell to your house parties, your gala dinner, which you're about to attend just now. I'm responsible for all the makeup in the world. Okay. Well, my company has been running for the past 3 years, and we have been making so much than we expected. We realized that in Mafeking, we don't have much of the makeup artist, so I'm seen as the best makeup artist. Well, this is what we're trying to fight over. We don't want to see this. Now, what we do is we teach people how to apply makeup professionally. By doing that, we give them the advantage to look like that. Basically, my company gives people the privilege to understand makeup deeper, not just the basics, but deeper. After our classes, you can start to open your beauty salon if you want to. Now, like I've said, we offer cosmetics. We also offer hair extensions. We also offer makeup classes and workshops. Now, we sell cosmetics, which we import from outside, so you can't find our cosmetics anywhere in South Africa, okay? The next thing is our makeup workshops. We have hosted more than 10 in Mafeking. That's where we're trying to build a clientele. And then we have hosted another one in Klerksdorp, which was last year. Now we have close to 60 attendees. Each person is paying 600 rands. So you can imagine how much revenue we make. Secondly, lastly, the makeup application. Like I've said initially, your farewells, your graduation, and your gala dinner. Now, you want to know what makes us different from the rest. I'll tell you one thing. Most of the salons, they don't offer quality makeup application. You can go to any of the salons, they will never give you what we give you, okay? Now, this is our revenue from March to June. You can see that we have made, from selling cosmetics only, 3,698 rands. And for the makeup only, which is the application part of it, we have made close to 23,527 rands from March to June. And lastly, the workshop is 30,000 rands from March to June. Now, these are pictures of people we have made the makeup before. The first person you can see is perfectly applied. You can't find this anywhere, in Mafeking, to be more precise. Now, we have vision and mission, which I believe that it should govern each and every company. Now, we want to make sure that every single person looks beautiful and confident, which we believe that makeup can do, all right? And we're looking forward to give each and every person an exceptional beauty care, an extraordinary look that you can never forget. Unfortunately, I didn't put on my makeup. You'll be so surprised. Now, I'll tell you what happens if I win this competition, okay? I cannot expand my business because I do not have one staff. I don't have enough cosmetics, and the skills and training, also the marketing tools. Now, we only have employed 2 people, which are also self-taught makeup artists, but we wish, as time goes by, to train them professionally, so to have certificates, because you do not want to come to my salon with a skin problem, and I do not understand your skin, as well as the cosmetics that I'll be using. So by going to school, learning all this type of makeup applications, we can also learn how your skin is able to deal with this type of different techniques, as well as the skin problems that we normally have, such as your pimples, etc. Our cosmetic products, we have a lot. We use different types of cosmetics. I would like to mention them, but unfortunately I can't. So this type of cosmetics are quality products, okay? And lastly, the marketing tools. We need enough marketing tools in our company. We've only been using social media, but we want to expand to people who do not have social medias. Some people do not even know what Facebook is. So we would like to have enough marketing tools so we can at least increase our clientele. Well, like I've said before, we're looking forward to taking at least 2 matriculants per year to different types of beauty schools where they can learn all the tricks relating to makeup. And also, we're looking forward to opening a business which has a location, because now I'm working from home. I'm trying to reduce the cost of the petrol, so people will come to my place to get their makeup done. And lastly, we like to open a beauty academy where we can teach people, like I've said, how to do makeup, so forth and so on. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, this is me and this is my client there. Thank you. Any questions?
Leratu, this is very Women's Month of you, very nice and very well done to you for doing this for 3 years on a profitable basis. I didn't catch in the beginning, are you a student at Northwest University?
Yes, I'm actually doing a Bachelor in Education, my 3rd year right now, and I'm teaching Physical Science and Lab Sciences.
And you're juggling this with your studies?
Yeah,
yes. Oh, well done to you. Right, so I wanted to know, so really all women and some men use makeup,
yes.
Right? And I wanted to know, how are you going to focus your market? Who is your ideal target market? Are you going to stay in the Mafikeng space? Is there a lot of opportunity there in terms of other competition? It doesn't seem as though you have much competition there. Just talk to me a bit about your focus area and your target market.
Okay, like I've said before, I'm just trying to build a clientele from Mafikeng. Now, the people in Mafikeng can let the other people from the outlying areas know that there's Lara Beautified who does this type of stuff. Okay, so basically, I'm just right now focusing only in Mafikeng. Okay. But I can travel if you having a gala dinner like now. I can come to Posh, do your makeup, and then head back home.
Student market, broader community.
Well, makeup is seasonal, so it's mostly during those seasons where it's farewells and graduations where I get to get clients and so on, like your weddings, which we know is from September going on. So this is the only time that I make enough money. Thank you.
Lerato, I know I'm out of my depth here. But this workshops and certifications and what you are doing, are you not killing your market by doing that?
Actually not.
And secondly, the certification of that, is the accreditation of it. Can you just speak to that? Thanks.
Excuse me, may you please elaborate on the accreditation?
Let me hook onto that because that's actually the same as my question. The question was around the certification and accreditation when you do your academy. My part of the comment and question to you is you've got such an excellent portfolio together with you being a student in education. Have you looked at the CETAs to actually write your own curriculum and have it accredited by CETA? I think it will fall under services CETA. I think that was your question as well.
All right. Right now, we're actually not giving out certificates and credibilities because we're just giving the basic makeup for yourself. It's only focused on you, how to apply your makeup, not another person's makeup, you understand? So yeah, I was actually thinking of applying for such so I can have my own school where I can teach people how to do makeup and they will have certificates afterwards. That's what I'm looking forward to doing in the future.
So look at services CETA and look at what's necessary to basically present a course such as that, because you have what it's necessary for it.
Because I do believe that Mafikeng doesn't have any beauty academy, does not even have any beauty academy.
Great opportunity.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Money, and then we target the informal section, like people roaming the streets in search for recyclable materials, and also large firms that want to recycle. And we also have an arcade option for young children, so we want to attract young children and start recycling from an early age. Well, my expectancies would be to build a network. That's what I really want to do, because I'm a student. I really have a few ideas, but you need a network to build that, and having the panel and building and learning with the people that you know, that's other competitors. So building a network was been my primary concern. And experience. I think everybody says experience, but I think it is really good, and learning to present under large pressure would be nicer.
Afternoon panel, I'm Arika, this is Yolinda, and we are social entrepreneurs. Now the problem basically in 2 words is waste disposal. So the extended consumption of resources and producing plastics are a major concern in South Africa currently. So humans are contributing towards pollution and they don't even know about it. So with our research, we have identified another problem regarding waste disposal and retailers. And that is retailers' DC trucks are returning empty after delivering their stocks to the specific retailers. The solution we offer is to create awareness, but in a brand new way. But at the same time, making it fun, reducing the carbon footprint of retail trucks and making money, thus creating recycling that benefits retailers, customers, and the community at the same time. It's recycling in a more techno and social way. So our product is smart, modern, and techno. So it's designed to recycle glass, plastic, and tin in return for loyalty points for the customers. It also includes an LED board that has that generates income for advertisements and consists out of 3 arcade games for the youth of the rural areas. So thus, the more the community recycle, the more points they get to buy bread, milk, or other essential things. Now, the machine does not serve the market by giving them hardcore cash. They instead adding value towards the retailers and adding value to the community as well as the customers.
And then the market we have identified, as you know, is recycling. And why we chose this market, it's a market in South Africa nobody really has tapped into, or they try to, but not really has succeeded at it that well. And we want to make a real difference. We want people to see machines and know about it. And this opportunity, we took this opportunity to get these machines in and to create awareness of recycling. So the uniqueness of the machine is that we actually pay people to bring their waste to us. And then the business model that we have planned is the partners that we want to use is Pick n Pay. Before they have the best loyalty program in South Africa for a few years now, ongoing. And then we want to reduce their carbon footprint, as Arika said, with the trucks going in and out empty. That's just a waste. We could refill it with recycled materials, and they could actually use those materials for Pick n Pay's no-name brand as well. And then why recycle in an old way? I mean, we don't send pigeons anymore to deliver our news or our letters or to speak, so why do we recycle in normal dustbins and not a new high-tech machine? And then just the financials, I'll also give you a sheet with it. The machine will cost roughly around 70 to 100,000 Rand, but if we can do it in South Africa, it's only going to be 30,000 Rand for the machine, and you create jobs for people in South Africa. And then maintenance costs on these machines are roughly around 11,000 Rand. And then the profit you'll be making from the wasted materials that Pick n Pay will get is going to be around 11,000 Rand, or 13,000 Rand a month, sorry. And then the advertisement board will generate another 800,000 Rand annually per year for the company.
For conclusion purposes or for future purposes, we want to expand. We want to go all over South Africa and making the machine green itself with solar paneling. And yeah, so we don't want to limit ourselves to one retailer. So we want to expand so that we can create a better South Africa. Thank you.
Thanks very much, and thank you for a very well presented presentation. I've got a practical question for you. If you run into a situation where the machine is full, and because everyone loves the games and it's gamified and it's really popular, do you see that as a challenge? What do I do with my waste? Now I pitch up in front of a Pick and Pay, and the machine is full, and I stand with these bags full of waste in front of a Pick and Pay. What do you do in that scenario?
Okay, that's a great question. Thank you very much. We thought about this a lot, and we first want to produce a machine that is small, just to see how it is going, because you have to test your market, and then we want to expand the machine bigger. But if they were to bring us things, we would never refuse it. We would ask Pick and Pay to store it for us, and maybe we would pay them a few extra rand to store it. But it's for the first few years, we obviously have to just get the numbers right, but after that, I believe there won't be a problem with people standing there, bags full of waste. Thank you.
Ladies, interesting and definitely relevant in our country and in the world at this stage. I wanted to know about prototypes. So you have, obviously there is an existing product internationally available.
Yes.
Do you have a local prototype? And is there somewhere that it is being used at the moment, or even the imported version? Is there a demo available in the country at the moment?
Unfortunately not, because we do not have the finances for it, but we want to partner with maybe someone that could help us make one, but there's not one. There is internationally in the Netherlands, in that where they actually recycle their bottles and they get coupons, but yeah, there's not one in South Africa yet that I know of or seen ever.
Thank you. Well done, girls. I think you once again looking at a problem that we have in society and trying to find a solution to what we're having. I'm just trying to understand the figures. And going with that, why did you decide only on glass and not other types of waste as well? You know, I think you have glass and tin. But you said the machine will cost between 1,700, makes a profit of 11 or 13,000. That maintenance, I think, is it per month 11,000?
No, it's annual.
Annual
Annual
maintenance.
maintenance, yes.
And then advertising significantly higher, if I've got the figure right, 800,000 rand.
Yes, I can show you the pamphlet if you want. It's easier to explain. Let me just quickly get it. Sorry.
Okay, thanks.
The idea of the advertising cost is it's an LED board, and it is in South Africa. There is some of it, and it's an extension we added onto the machine. There's not a machine like it. But we thought, as social entrepreneurs, businesses also have to make money. They can't just give. So we understand that part. So we added this LED board for the idea that people would associate businesses with being green if they actually advertised just at the top of the munch machine. So we thought it would be a great twist to put the LED board on, and the companies would actually generate money from other companies by advertising on the board. So that is where we get those figures from. And the reason why it is so high, if we import the machine, it's an expensive machine. But if we could make it ourselves, we could. We just need investors, then it would be way cheaper, and we would create jobs.
Just a quick check. The machine will already, glass will be in the glass department.
Yes, yes. It sorts itself on, it's weight related. So the weight of the thing you put in goes to the panel at the back in different compartments.
Sounds very interesting. It will be interesting to see in working order here in South Africa.
Hopefully. Thank you so much.
Good day, judges. Here's what I'll be presenting. And can I have one of these? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We are a group of 51 dedicated students uniting communities through science, technology, entrepreneurship, and most importantly, technology. And today I have the honor of representing the Northwest-University Potchefstroom campus team. My name is Udurile Mariri, and I love my team. Limits. As South Africans, we are famous for overcoming our limits, but the elderlies in our communities still face limits. The old age grant has become one of the primary sources of income within South Africa. And furthermore, the elderly have to support the whole entire household with just 1,600 Rand a month. This is where our Lesotho Soap journey begins. We partnered up with Meki Dibonepo, who is the center coordinator for the Lesotho Center in Ikageng. The center was started in the year 2010 with the hope of incorporating the skills of the elderly in order to help them make an additional income. After visiting the center, our team was overwhelmed by the spirit and zest expressed by the elderly of people who took as the beneficiaries for our project. The center members gather 3 times a week in order to make an additional income, and also they participate in various sporting activities, including network, maintenance of a vegetable garden, and also they produce food, which are supplements for the daily food at the center. After a visit at the center, our team noted that despite all the activities, the beneficiaries at the center felt no sense of confidence and felt excluded from the economic participation in the community. Our beneficiaries wanted to build a legacy that could be sustainable for future generations and take full advantages of the full business opportunities in their community. Our beneficiaries have access to land which is not being fully utilized to them due to administrative delays from the local municipality. In South Africa, thousands die every year from disadvantaged areas from preventable diseases such as typhoid, diarrhea, pneumonia, cholera, which is due to a lack of hygiene. In fact, the World Health Organization rates South Africa as one of the least hygienic nations in the world. With the amount of time that the beneficiaries have in their hands, we were able to conjure up a project that will address these above-mentioned problems. Do you remember your last day in a hotel? Remember those tiny little hand soaps? Have you ever asked yourselves what happens to them when you actually leave the hotel? Well, we took those tiny hand soaps and started creating a functional recycling process. Our beneficiaries scrape off the first layer and grate the soap, add boiling water and sand, resulting in a liquid hand wash soap, which gives Potchefstroom its first of its kind liquid recycled soap. At the end of the soap production, our beneficiaries asked us a simple question: can we take our soaps home? This showed us that Lesotho Soap was on the right track, and hence we knew that we had to make this project sustainable in order to guarantee long-term job sustainability and also put an effort in actually changing the lives of the beneficiaries at the center. We approached local hotels and B&Bs, and we managed to collaborate with 8 of the local hotels in Potchefstroom, namely Road Lodge, Leopard Lily, Akalan Ghost House, and Lemon Blossom. They partnered up with us as they wanted to decrease their carbon footprint and also improve their corporate image. We know that every project needs an aggressive marketing strategy, which was the approach for our team. We advertised our project on various media platforms, including 2 radio interviews at the local community radio station, Akhanang FM, which is a listenership of 90,000 people, as well as articles in the Potchefstroom Herald, Klokwe News, and our university website. Our team also assisted in the design of the soap logo and packaging and a website for the business. As we all know, no business can be sustainable without an effective distribution channel. So we took it upon ourselves to set up an effective pricing model, which will obviously mean that our product will be offered 500 milliliter for 25 rand and 20 rand for 250 milliliter. This is more than any other soap available on the market, which leads to a profit markup for 8.43 and 12.87 for each bottle respectively. Our soap will be sold to local spaza shops in order to generate buy-in from the local community, and also will be sold to the local hospitality establishments such as conference centers and hotels. In order to ensure that our beneficiaries fully understand their business model and know how to run a profitable business, we're in the process of acquiring business skills training from Sage South Africa by the end of this year. Our expansion plan was highly influenced by our entry to the Ford Motor Company Fund entry. We needed to partner up with the local School of Engineering in order to reach more people. This is where we identified a biodiesel plant on campus which produces glycerol as a byproduct. And we found out that this byproduct was normally dumped at a river, making the water unsafe for consumption and damaging the underground water systems. We did research to find out how we can limit this waste. This is where we met Mr. Gideon van Zeren and has experienced collaboration will make it possible for us to produce bar soap. A unit for transdisciplinary health research. And through the help of Jurita van der Verte, we were able to crack the formula to produce bar soaps. This will be done by February 2018. Remember that edible land that I mentioned earlier? Well, we partnered up with the municipality and they have agreed to give us the land and also to help the beneficiaries progress with their farming activities. This land is to the value of 191,000, which can also be used as a place for production. We also acquired a portable work trailer from the Tlokwe municipality, which will also assist as a portable shop for the business. We aim to sell 300 bottles of liquid soap, which 200 and 250 mil, and the remaining 100 as 500 milliliters, with an estimated income of 6,500 rand per batch. Our team also received 5,000 grant funding from the Ford Motor Company Fund, which will help us expand our project. We directly empowered 31 elderly people and 95 people indirectly directed. Through our intervention, the people of the Lesotho Center set up their first ever bazaar market where they sold their soap to the local community. Through our intervention, the ladies of the Lesotho Center have now a sense of restored dignity and now feel included part of the community. Limits exist everywhere around us, but it takes a special group of individuals to take upon the challenge and go beyond these limits. Over this year, we ran over 2 projects and we directly impacted 31 people and 95 people indirectly impacted. We accumulated over 250,000 rand in assets with a group of 51 students who contributed 2,104 hours. Reached over 90,000 people that are indirectly impacting 180 people. Addressed 7 of the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, which is number 5, number 6, number 8, number 12, number 14, and number 15. Okay. In the famous words of Robin Sharma, the limits we don't face become our fears. Thank you.
Questions?
We have now managed to get into a market where there's always been a need that needs to be addressed. All of us that travel a lot, we are the ones that's using those little soaps and leave them behind. But there's something else that we leave behind, all those little plastic tubes. So your next expansion should look at a machine that's actually cutting up that plastic and reuse that. Because you're already in the market, you already have your networks and your contacts with the hotels and the guest houses. And well done.
Thank you.
It's really a nice project.
Thank you.
I would like to add my comments and say well done. And going forward, our office would like to be involved.
Thank you.
So Enactus, I'm a big Enactus fan because what you guys from Enactus do countrywide and even worldwide has such a social impact, and this is no exception. And thank you for thinking of a sector which is often forgotten, namely the elderly. We're all going to end up, some of us sooner, the others later, but we're all going to end up there. So what I wanted to know was, in terms of the sustainability of this project, your numbers are impressive at this stage, but you are students and you are moving, Actus always has multiple projects going on. How are you going to ensure the sustainability of this project?
First of all, I think the biggest question to sustainability will be because of the elders, and that they might not be here sooner rather than later. So we're actually looking into addressing and pulling some of the youth into the project in order to ensure sustainability, and also to ensure that the business still remains fundable and still meets the bottom line. We are getting the beneficiaries business skills and management training from Sage South Africa to ensure that they can still manage the project after once we leave the project.
So yeah, once again, I want to build on what has been said. This is an amazing project, so well done on that. 2 questions. What will you use the money for should you win the prize? And what are your plans to grow your distribution? In other words, where you plan to sell your products to? How do you plan to grow that market?
Okay. The first question, which is how we're going to grow the business, what are we going to do with the prize money? What we're going to do with the prize money is basically to help us get the soap branded and also get it SAB approved, and also doing various testings at local cosmetic efficiency labs to make sure that the soap is actually safe and actually meets the dermatological standards. And that will also help us expand into reaching the bigger markets and getting into your local stores such as Pick n Pay and Shoprite Checkers. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andile Belane. Originally, I'm from Klerksdorp. Currently, I'm based in Potchefstroom. I'm a student, a first-year student at Noordwes-universiteit. I'm studying Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology and Sociology. And today, I'm going to present my business idea. Ladies and gentlemen, my business idea is aimed at producing our very own first animation, our very first animation African superhero. The aim of this, ladies and gentlemen, is to create the cartoon network that is going to appeal to our African people, a character who's going to possess African superpowers and African attributes as well. We realize that most of our children, the majority of the cartoons that we have are from overseas. Mostly our children, they watch the Superman, Batman, Iron Man. But with our company, we are planning on creating African superheroes who possesses African superpowers as well. And furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, our market, our target market is mostly children, the teens, the youth, and adults, and mostly people who enjoy animation program. And then, how big is the market? Well, our market here in South Africa for animation, it's big, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing that lacks is the content to push our African animation content. The only, on the opposition side, ladies and gentlemen, the competitors, it's Ukwezi. The comic book is about a guy, Loyiso Mkhize, who created a comic book. And then there is YouTube, The Adventures of Noko Mashaba, which is short video clips which play mostly on YouTube. But with our animation content, ladies and gentlemen, we are planning on creating animation series and animation movies, which will be portraying on our television sets. And furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, we plan to serve our market by creating platform for young aspiring animators who wants to go into the line of animation. The young aspiring animators, the drawers, and graphic designers, we plan to create employment for them because there is plenty of content about animations, and we believe that through animation we can reach the broader market. And then also, ladies and gentlemen, our content can also be transferred into other avenues. As our business, for our revenue model, we were planning to create our very own keychains, caps, and t-shirts as our business revenue. But in this instance, these pictures are just for illustration. For ours, the pictures will be printed with our very own African animations on the accessories that we will be having. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we're planning on partnering with YouTube and SABC channels, the radio channels, which will be broadcasting our very own content to the rest of the community and the rest of the South Africa and Africa as a whole. Hopefully the world will also know our stories. Also, ladies and gentlemen, our suppliers partners, we are planning to meet up with small media companies which we will be working with. Currently, we do not have the graphic designers and illustrators as the proper professionals, but we're planning on targeting small media companies as we know that they also need to break through into the market. So they will be our suppliers partners. And for funds, ladies and gentlemen, the funds which are needed are estimated at around 95,000 to 150,000, which will be divided accordingly to by the equipment that is needed. The equipment that is needed in our company currently, ladies and gentlemen, is a computer, preferably an Apple iMac, which ranges between 45,000 to 75,000. And also a Photoshop software, which will be able to use it for creating better quality animation content, which ranges between 4,000 to 10,000. And also, ladies and gentlemen, getting the graphic designer books and a camera and a proper quality camera, which will be used to create the best quality content. And then in future, ladies and gentlemen, we are planning, we see our company creating our own cartoon series, our own animation movies, and hopefully having our own cartoon network, which will exclusively promote African animation content. And then lastly, this is the animation content that we hope to see that will spread out through the world and telling our own African stories, as we believe that we have so much history in our continent and we have so much political heroes and our ancestral heroes which the stories which were never untold. And we believe that through animation, we can still tell those stories. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now I can accept questions.
So Andile,
Yes,
what a huge market you have awaiting you there. And you've really pinpointed a big gap in the market. And I think executing on this dream is going to be a challenge and a half,
Yes,
but certainly you're spot on with your vision and with the plan that you have in place. So I think one of your benefits is the fact that you're looking beyond only the cartoon aspect, but also in productizing your offering with other merchandise and other branded merchandise. I would like to know what would be your first steps. So if you were to win this prize, what would be your first steps that you would be taking?
Okay, ma'am. If we would win this prize, the first step that would I take is to get proper equipment and organize a team of animators and illustrators, the professionals who would properly do the actual content of the animation product, ma'am. That's the first step that we do.
Andile, our university has great stories to tell where companies have started as a spin-off business on campus under mentorship of academics. Would this be something that appeals to you?
So, can you please rephrase the question?
If we think about our university's history
Yes,
of spinning off companies with students, much of that has started on campus under supervision of some of the lecturers.
Yes.
Would this be something that appeals to you?
Of course, I believe right now through our animation content, we will be able to portray stories about the campus as well and the history of it. It's possible that we can also have a program specialized for the history of the school.
My point goes rather to helping you to achieve what you want to do,
Yes,
but by
sir.
starting on campus. So,
Yes.
A second note, I think you should seriously look in educational matter as well, driven by the medium that you are really, I think, an astonishing artist and can handle the media.
Yes.
Andile, what
Yes,
a great concept. I personally think it is long overdue, and I also believe that the timing is correct for this. Having said that, I just think the packaging of this has not been done properly, and in the IDC we have a media and motion pictures unit, which I think can really benefit you. Your market is obviously, what you refer to as the market is obviously the ultimate consumer or viewers, but your market is actually the television stations, etc.
Yes.
And if you look at what Mnet is doing, they're really looking for these type of stories, you know. Most people that we engage with, they call it the bubblegum segment, sort of look at soapies and short sort of things, you know, happening in communities. But I think this brings us into a different angle through animation. So I think what I would like to offer you here, you know, outside of this, is how can we take this, package it properly, assign a mentor to you, and link you to our media and motion pictures unit, because they then also link you to the multi-choices, SABCs, and those of the world, to get a sense of this. But I think just from, you know, I've got small kids as well, and obviously it's important that they also can relate, you know, to their heroes, you know, their African stories and what speaks to their interest. Well done.
Yes, thank you.
Quick question, what is your background?
I grew up at Klerksdorp.
And then, are you an artist?
No, ma'am. Myself, I enjoy, artist-wise, I'm not an artist, but I've always been a fan of animation.
Okay.
Yes, but unfortunately, I couldn't pursue graphic designing, as it costs money to go to those schools of graphic design, and there's not much support for it. So hence, I'm currently studying psychology and sociology right now.
Psychology, that's a huge one.
Yes.
Have you heard of triggerfish?
Ma'am?
Triggerfish.
Triggerfish.
Yeah, triggerfish. It's a Cape Town-based company that do animation.
Okay.
And they've produced the film Kumba. And 2 or 3 other international acclaimed movies as well.
Okay.
What I would suggest is that you get in contact with them, find out if you can spend a week with them to see what it entails to put together a movie, because that's all they do. And they're having a lot of fun with it.
Yes.
So it will give you an immediate sense of what your next step needs to be.
Yes, ma'am.
So remember the name? Trigger Fish.
Trigger Fishy. Okay, ma'am. Noted.
I'm taking 2 turns.
No.
Just one quick closing
Okay.
remark.
Okay, ma'am.
Don't exclude half your market or more than half your market, the female consumer. Remember the growing female market, and remember the huge impact and reception received by Wonder Woman.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
how
Yes,
about
ma'am.
having a male and a female,
yes, ma'am.
African superhero?
Of
Please.
course, ma'am. Of course, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Andile.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Andile, just a closing remark from my side as well. I think you'd be very wise to partner with someone who has experience in this industry.
Yes, sir.
Because I think you'll be surprised to know that it's much more than just a Mac and a bit of Photoshop that goes into creating a movie.
Yes,
But that
yes.
being said, Rome is not built in a day. So nothing stops you from taking the first step, and it links with the first question, is you can build a digital community around a character on Facebook and social media platforms and create a bit of hype around the image and create this persona, and then use that to partner with the right guys to take this to market. But you don't have to shoot the movie yourselves. You can just do a small part and partner with the right people, and then this thing can really take off very quickly.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. Thank you.
My name is Busiso Mbonambi. I'm the final year third year student at Noordwes-universiteit Potchefstroom campus.
Good evening, good afternoon. My name is Robert Mutale. I'm a final year at Potchefstroom campus. Then I'm studying psychology and geography.
All right, so our business idea is called Siyabangena Fitness Sessions. It's an outdoor fitness session that is based in the townships. Now, there's a growing concern in the communities about their fitness and health. Everyone wants to get healthy, everyone wants to get fit. Ladies are posting photos on Instagram, they want to get fit. When they go out to vacations in the beach, they also want to wear nice clothing that's going to go well with their bodies. So they spend thousands and thousands of money on the weight loss products, which may have side effects as well. And so what we came up with is an outdoor fitness session that is readily available in the communities. Now, what's the problem? The problem is the lack of fitness facilities in the township, which causes the township dwellers to move out and go to the towns because that's where the gyms are based. They're based in the shopping malls and the shopping centers. So that is costly for them. From my personal observation, because I come from a township myself, people in the townships are not really health conscious, and their health lifestyle is not a priority to them. And it's also overcrowding in gyms, so that also causes them not to want to go to gyms because it's too crowded and they're not really confident to go there. So what do we offer? We offer an outdoor fitness gym in different zones of the township so that it's nearby to everybody, affordable, and different programs to accommodate everyone in the township. So the specialized outdoor fitness sessions consist of the toning, weight loss, maintaining of weight, as well as aerobics. We also have jogging sessions on the side, which are optional, which they can do in the evenings and the mornings. So they're absolutely free and they facilitate with the workouts that we have in our programs. So what's our target market? So it's the township dwellers who are struggling with their weight issues. The gym will be located in the different zones. As you can see, this is the aerial photograph of my township. So the gym is going to be allocated in the different zones there. So in each and every zone, there's going to be the main gym. So what's the opportunity? How big is this pie and can we get a slice? Well, there's a widespread in the market. As you know, there's a fitness channels, fitness DVDs and YouTube channels that are there to help with the fitness. There are a lot of gyms that are opening. However, we offer a unique service. Ours is located in the community. It's located in the community, in the township. So it's an untapped market. You hardly find a gym in the townships. So which is why we're saying, yes, this is going to be successful. We are confident it's going to be successful because there are no gyms at the community, at the townships. So our marketing strategy is going to be a word of mouth strategy. So what we do in the townships, basically everybody talks. We gather everywhere, we gather in church, we gather in parties, in brides, in different places. So you basically tell one person, the other person tells the other. So it's an easy way to market ourselves and to attract people to come to this fitness gym. We're also gonna offer 15% discount on our services for a member or a client who brings 5 members into the business. And we're also gonna make use of posters. So how is this going to develop? Basically, in the ground root level, we're going to have 1 gym per zone, and then we're going to build a relationship with the municipality for emergency space in case it rains or whatever. We are able to use their facilities. We're also going to have a full membership. Phase 2, we're going to introduce the membership bands for control to see who has paid, how many clients we have. We're going to buy more equipment. Phase 3, we're going to have 150 constant members. We're going to have membership benefits, such as if you are a student, this is what you're going to have and stuff like that. And we also want to franchise into 4 provinces. And also something that I haven't mentioned there is that we also want to train unemployed youth in our community to become the coaches. So it's also an employment opportunity for them and also skill development. All right, now this whole thing must have business sense, so Robert Mudala is going to explain that.
Okay, thank you. In our business model, we came up with an idea like, okay, we're going to maybe do our membership per person. We're going to charge each and every individual $850 per session, meaning like if we have 50 members, we'll make something like 425, and then we're going to have 6 sessions per week, meaning per week, we're going to make something like 2,550,000, and monthly it's going to give us something like 10,200 rand, meaning in a year it's going to be close to 120,000. So our plan to sell supplements that people are spending money on, and the product that they are using there is like those products they are not sure whether the products are working or not. So now we decided to approach the companies that sell the products already, that have the product are already tested for their health and stuff. And those companies, as you can see, it's Forever Living and Herbalife and Manatech, which are the network marketing companies. They offer supplements, products and stuff. So we decided that we're going to negotiate with the companies for us to negotiate something like 25% with them to give us if ever we sell one of their products. And since it's a network marketing company, so either way, we're gonna make money out of them. Right. And then our cost structure is like this. We're gonna need like something like 1,500 to rent a place that we're gonna use in the location. And we're gonna pay like our instructors. We are planning to have 3 instructors. Okay. We are planning to have 3 personal instructors in our gym, and we're gonna pay like each instructor. Each instructor is gonna have a 2-hour session per day. And meaning like if they are 3, we're gonna make something like per day, we're gonna pay them 180. So our equipment involves gym jumpers and yoga mats and anti-bust balls. Yeah, so that we can use that's the equipment that we're gonna use for our gym sessions, and it's gonna cost us 75,500. And then in our skill development program, there's a program that we're gonna take maybe 3 members of the community, the youth that's just sitting there in their locations doing nothing, and then we're gonna give them opportunity to go to schools, maybe to different academics, to improve their life, their skills in the personal training sessions and stuff. So the amount of the development skill is gonna be 8,000 for each and every individual. And then our registration, and then we're gonna need money to register our business, which is gonna be 500 rand. And then we're gonna need money again for insurance to insure all the equipment that we're gonna be having in the gym in case of maybe we're facing some risk and stuff in the townships.
Okay, last sentence. Why do they need to invest in you? Give the last summary. Okay, don't push it. Financials,
Okay.
5 seconds.
The reason why we need the investors in our business is just because we saw that in the townships we don't have gyms, and we saw a market that's open, a gap in the market. So we were hoping that we're gonna get investors so that we can maybe improve the lifestyle of the township dwellers and so forth. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys. I have a question for you on your market. I would like to know if you are successful, would you grow this to other markets, not just Igageng? And what have you thought of? Is this something you see going provincially, nationally? Where would you go next, and how would you grow this to other areas as well?
Okay, we were planning to go nationally with this thing. Like after we have maybe like 150 membership, constant membership that we have, and then we're planning to maybe franchise it to maybe another location, maybe let's say from this province, from moving out from Northwest, going to maybe Gauteng province, or maybe Free State and stuff. That's what we're planning to do after we have certain membership. Like the actual number now is it's only if we have 150 members.
Guys, obviously, I don't know whether I buy the market gap, because also growing up in a township and moving it around townships, there's certainly gyms there, probably not to the level. I mean, even boxing rings, and people do a lot of things there in that. And so I think there might be some areas that might have it. So I don't know how unique that is. And then secondly, your figures don't add up for me. I think you need to go and look at that, you know, in terms of your whole revenue model, in terms of what you would charge. Is per session a good revenue stream? I know the gyms work on a contract basis so that you sort of have a captured market for a period of time, etc. So I think you must just look at that. And then maybe identify areas. I mean, to have one in each zone is probably ideal, but also you need quite a critical mass, you know, to do that. Noble idea, definitely need to get people gymming and get them active. But I think you need to really do your market research because, like I said, and just make sure that it's economically viable because it is a very cutthroat sector. Thank you.
I've got two comments for you. Have you guys heard about Parkrun? Have a look at parkrun.co.za. It's an international, global setup. Every Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, people get together in a certain area and they do 5 kilometers. It's a volunteer-based, but it's very good for marketing. So if you set up something like this in your township, I think it will be the first one in South Africa in the township. And they give you the support, so look at that. Then also you've missed out on a very important point. You're taking youth off the street, teaching them a healthy lifestyle. And this is what companies will support. So you can get corporate sponsorship for that. That's what they've been doing on the Cape Flats, trying to get the youth off the streets, because if you're as healthy as you two look, you're not doing drugs. So keep the youth from doing drugs by teaching them healthy lifestyles and getting them into all these sports activities. So use that as your marketing tool as well. Okay.
So guys, I would be a good participant in your program, I think. But something that I want to just come back to is the fact that we need to sometimes start with the low-hanging fruit. So in some regions and in some municipalities, and I'm talking from Joburg perspective here, so I know this is Joburg and this is suburbs, so I know this is not true for all areas and for all municipalities. There are outdoor gyms already in some areas. So I was wondering whether it would be a viable option for you to start presenting services at existing infrastructure spots. So where there are existing outdoor, now that's not your township market, I know, but where there are existing outdoor gyms, perhaps you can start practicing your skills, practicing your engagement, see what it will entail to have an outdoor gym in a place where the infrastructure is already in place. So I don't know in your area whether there would be anything in the Tlokwe municipality, anything like that. But this is ideally something that I would say you need to pilot, you need to test your idea in practice. So yeah, my 10 cents worth.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in and joining us. All the videos will be available on YouTube to review it again. I want to thank the Leopards for joining us for this wonderful event. I want to thank all the entrepreneurs who pitched. And tonight we'll announce the winners, the top 3, and provide them with funding towards their idea. Thank you and have a good evening.